about another 6 or so who have responded that they would be here, but they're not here. So
Okay.
but I'm recording, and yeah, I'm recording, and we will do what we got to do.
All right, perfect. So at 3:07, we'll go ahead and start this meeting. Call the meeting to order. Welcome. Like I said before, at least we have all the people that really matter joining us. So just kidding. We've got some great people who just happen to not be here as well. Do you want to just take what's on the screen, or do you want to actually do a roll call, Bill?
Yeah, no, I can do what's on the screen here, but obviously there's we have a quorum issue, which as I've typically said, as I've typically said to groups, that we don't have a quorum. I mean, we're not a subject to those open meeting requirements, but we want to try to get some business done. So what I typically do here is I'm recording the meeting. We can go through our business. Obviously, you don't want to probably make any votes, but so people can view what we talked about. And because of course this goes up onto the YouTube, ICC's YouTube site. I'm sure all of you have seen our meetings there.
Sure.
And we can try to get some things done. But I think for the sake of discussion further here, I've pulled up our roster. I'm not sure if you can see this, but clearly, and one of the things on our agenda is to review the roster, because this is our problem. This is where we are, and still one of our action items that we're still holding on to is what is the status of some of these people? And obviously, Robin is here. Thank you. But it's the usual suspects. But even Robin, you're starting to become one of our usual suspects that show up. I know you're probably listening in, and
I love it. I want to be part of that group.
So I may as well say it here. The applications for governing committee membership are out there soon. If they're not already, then you ought to consider doing that. So I'll just leave it at that. But we need to probably find out where we are, Mark, here with membership of this subcommittee, because we know some of the people are active because we've seen their stuff, but there are some here that we haven't heard from in quite a while. So I think we need that needs to be a little bit more of a focus for us. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna touch on that on item 5, and I can roll right into it because, well, no, I will touch on that on item 5, just so everybody who's here can kind of get a handle of where I'm at with that. So we'll do that. I'll just kind of say out loud, we have Audrey Klein, thank you for being here. Robin, thank you. Robin Yoakum. Of course, Bill, and James Williamette, thank you, and Dan Dockery, and we have one more. Oh, I can't read who that is.
Audrey, looks like Audrey's here. Jim Williamette.
Audrey.
I've got 6.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, including you.
I got 6, including me. Yes.
Okay. I'm showing one more. It says +1, but it won't show up, so I don't know. Anyway, that's who we've got at this point, and we'll just move forward. Are there any announcements or changes to the agenda? I'll throw that out there. Okay.
I have none.
Okay. Fair enough. We won't really review and approve the minutes because we can't. We can certainly review them, but we can't approve them because we don't have a quorum. So we're gonna pass on that piece, and that will come in our next one to approve that, and then just recognize these. What do we call these, Bill? Notes, basically, at this point.
That's it. That's what I'll do. Is they'll be posted as notes.
Okay.
The video will go up almost as soon as it's over, and people will be able to see it. But yeah, they'll be considered notes, and everybody will get a copy of those.
Okay. So the action items are item number 5. If you look at the agenda, action items are pretty much all me, and that's absolutely correct. So the first one, the most important one, reach out to members of the subcommittee to determine their status. And Bill touched on that, earlier, and exactly right. And I've talked on this just very briefly in other meetings. But just so you know, basically, I had to get here to where we are basically today, or last Friday, I guess it was Monday, in order to really be effective at doing that, right? And I'm going to move forward with that, and I'm going to start hauling people in. I'll start selling the subcommittee, to everybody, and the great things that we are going to do, and the advantages that we have, and what we can do. But honestly, I had to get a handle as to what we are going to do, right? And so, and I know I kind of load you up with spreadsheets. That's how my mind works, and that helps me stay focused and task oriented. And I broke those down. So if you kind of, you don't have to, but if you were to take those spreadsheets and kind of mesh them into that other large document that I have, that is basically CBBPI document, it shows the best practices and the innovation. There's 2 separate colors, and it has some responsibilities and tasks on those. What these do is these pull out the actual, the tangible duties of all of those tasks, right? And there's more details that have to happen with that, but at least within each of these spreadsheets, what I can do is when I tell somebody that, let's go ahead and be part of this membership, let's go ahead and get active, let's go ahead and start doing things, this gives them a clear identification of what we would ask them to be doing, right? And so, and I can explain very easily, and hopefully before too long, everybody else can explain what their tasks are, what their teams within the subcommittee are doing, and what their responsibilities are, and where they should be, and where their goals are. So the goals I have on that large spreadsheet. These are really just the actual tangible tasks that allow those goals to happen. And it keeps moving on that larger spreadsheet that, we've got dates and duties and responsibilities and expectations on there. But within these spreadsheets, and I've broken it down into the evaluation team, into the marketing, social media team, and then also the innovations, right? And so a lot of the stuff that's on there, we've already talked about, right? Is, the best practices, we've been doing this for a while. The innovations teams have done fantastic work. And honestly, now we're like 3 years into that. And all of everything they've done, I've basically documented onto that. And then how do we get there is within that sheet, right? Within that innovation spreadsheet, we've got some, I think I call them tasks on there. And that's some of the tasks that they will do, on a routine basis. And they'll be expanded on that, and they'll have to figure out within themselves how to build those details out. But that's why, I haven't spent a lot of energy reaching out to all of them, because I could tell them last November, hey, I really need you to be on here. You're on here. Do you want to stay? Yes. What am I going to do? Well, I couldn't be really clear at that point about what they're going to do. I can now, and I have no problem. We've got a lot of people out there. I hope when I reach out to all the people on this list that they all come back. And I hope that I'm going to grab more in the membership council already, because there's plenty of other people that are part of the building membership council that can help out here. And so that's really kind of gotten us to where we are. Is it an excuse? Maybe. Is it why we are where we are? Maybe. I don't know. But honestly, this is where we're at. And now I have a lot of confidence in moving forward and being able to talk this talk and bring people in and allow this to actually start moving forward and getting better. Any questions on that? I'm glad to take any questions from the core team that we have here. If not, that's fine.
Mark, I just make a comment. I like that. I like that pathway. I think it's great. I mean, timing is right. You had to be right in your own mind as the chair to do so, and that's great. And the people, you may find that all of these people want to stay, or some of them don't, and that's fine too. But like you said, we are a big organization here, and we're also a big membership council. There are people out there who are starting to filter through, and one of them is on the call today, Robin. Although you filtered through a while ago, you're here. But there are others like Robin who certainly do what they say they're going to do, and not that these others aren't following through. They're busy. You're all busy as code officials. I get that. But there is a big pool out there, and I'm sure we'll be able to reel some more in and get them doing some of this good work that's out there already.
Yeah, and I appreciate that statement, and yeah, and I'm completely confident that the locomotive is in motion, and a lot of good is going to start coming from this, and we're going to really start seeing it through this year and in the many years to come. There's just this evaluation team evaluating best practices. That's a forever team. Right now, it may not be the same people. And we'll see over the years what that adjusts to, whether 3 is enough, whether 7 is the right number, or whatever. So that'll be a little bit fluid, but that's taking direct information that's coming from our partners with MJC and IAS to be able to look at these and then document them and categorize them into locations. So that's that's a long-term step, as all of these are, but that one's probably going to stay very similar for years to come.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
And thank you, Bill. I appreciate the confidence you have in me. But when we start to try to recruit other members, are you or one of our parts of our team going to come up with something that we then can share with our contacts? Like for me here in Nevada, if I can reach some of our other code officials that maybe aren't aware of these kind of subcommittees or committees, is that something that we'll be able to help you with, or how do you envision that?
Yeah,
as far as getting new members.
Yeah, that's a great statement and question. Basically, a call to awareness, right?
Yeah.
And I can certainly generate a document to that, kind of a paragraph out there, a call to membership. And I know we've got kind of we've got some of that out there. I don't want to conflict with what the membership council part of it is, but maybe I can kind of integrate how the membership council page, so to speak, reads, pull some of that information off, and then have our own little marketing scheme.
Right.
and get that. I think that's a great idea.
So Mark and Robin, so you do know, and Mark kind of alluded to it now, currently on the ICC on our webpage, on the Building Membership Council webpage, there is a quote call for committees. So until Mark generates that specific interest in the CBBPI group, we could point people there, and that's how we determined a while back, several years ago, on how we would keep the committeeship open to people who have an interest. And I know there's been discussion on new members, and as we've had a bunch of new members come on board more recently, and giving them something to get involved in. At least that's one spot to go to, like I said, until Mark gets his document up and out to people. But I frankly wish our other subcommittee chairs would do something similar to promote that as well. So sounds like a good plan, Mark.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what I'll do. I think I'll build basically a paragraph or a call to action around that location on the membership council site, so we can get them there. We want to obviously get them there and say, hey, I want to be part of this team on CBBPI, right? That kind of thing. And so, yeah, I'll absolutely do that. Yeah, great comment.
Hey, Mark, can I offer something?
Of course.
I've got a letter that I send out now to everybody who joins the BMC, thanking them for joining the BMC and telling them a little more about each one of our subcommittee and task groups, and just in short what they're doing. If you'd like, I'll send you a copy of that letter, and also send you a copy, if you don't have it, of mid-year report, annual report, which break it down a little bit more. And then I think you combine that with the notes that you always keep, and maybe even put tag some items off of the matrix in there, because they're all kind of interwoven. I'll be glad to give you all of that if you want it, just to use what you want and throw away the rest.
Yeah, greatly appreciate it. Love to have it, for sure. Yeah, perfect. Anything else on that? That's kind of kind of the action item. Is a call to action. So item 2 talks about further defining, and that's really what I've done with those spreadsheets. In my mind, I envision those spreadsheets being advanced a little bit further once those teams are developed, and so and that's fine. I mean, I'm just kind of running a platform to work off of. Some of that wording may just be BS wording that I threw in while I was sitting out on my porch on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. But I think we can further develop some of that stuff. Not a real need for getting too into the weeds on that, but it helps to keep people focused. And I love vision, mission, and purpose, and so it gives kind of the drive to get the mechanism going. And so I'm pretty happy with where the structure sits on that. But fully understand that once those teams are in place, there's going to be some further development on that.
So looking at the spreadsheets, Mark, because they are each one of them are so interrelated with the other ones.
Yes.
Because we're kind of little cogs on a big wheel, and we're all kind of turning the same wheel. As far as maybe catching the interest of other people and bringing them in, I'm kind of seeing something maybe really simple, maybe in a bubble type diagram with each really pared down to some basic. This is what it does, and have lines going to each one showing how they're interrelated. So a very graphic kind of thing where people can kind of grab onto that before they get into the document of the spreadsheet and read the verbiage that's in there that describes what the activities are.
So I love that you said that, because one of the ideas I had and just didn't get to it, and I didn't think this group needed it, was kind of like a visual, like a flow chart type of thing, and I think I'm digging your idea a little bit better than kind of that flow chart. Is how they do, but visually how they interact with each other, because they are all one. Yeah, that's a great idea, and I'll absolutely get that visual done.
I'd be happy to do a kind of simple hand draft of what I've got in my head and just shoot it over to you.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, I'd really appreciate that. Because I learn as I do visuals, which I do a fair amount just for work, but I learn them the minute I'm doing them. I'm learning them.
I just think that's going to catch some eyes of people who are looking for what to do. They tend to gravitate towards something simple and visual like that.
Totally. And I think it's important that we have kind of all those pieces, right? There's that crazy, super technical spreadsheet thing. Then there's the big, much bigger visual graphic that the visual learners can see that and grasp her. So yeah, no, I think that's great. I appreciate your hand sketch on that. We good with that?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so the next item, of course, is the team's report. One of the things I was going to announce to everybody is this super great news. This should be the last CBBPI committee that I'm talking all the time, because we're going to have people who can fill these these other teams and all that. So my goal would be to be able to shut up at like 5 and a 5.3 or something. Not quite there, but we're getting there very, very easily, and I think it's going to come together pretty well. So just so you guys know, on this best practices document, I keep referring to that obviously. That's still in play. That's really Mike Baus with IAS is really the lead man on that, lead person on that, and he's still running that through the system, through IAS, through MJC, but they're working on. They haven't gotten it out yet. So it's basically, it starts with a survey, and it goes to the other IAS members who are already accredited, who are already on that 2017 book. And you guys have heard me say this before. But so that's already in play, and once that gets flushed out, and he makes any of the tweaks that he needs to make, then it's actually going to come onto us as well. So we're working on kind of the early part of that. And let me see here. I've got.
Hey, Mark, you got Jim. Jim has his hand up. I'm not sure if he has something to add.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to click on that. Jim, what's going on?
Mark, just real quick, the best practices eval team. First of all, I'd like to put my name in on that.
We're on there.
Just let you know, I think I'm on there, but I'm not sure.
We'll be down.
The second thing is that how is that going to work? Because when I was on MJC, you know, that was part of what MJC did, is we actually worked through all those best practices and we looked at them.
Yep.
And then we said, hey, this is the one that should go in the document. Or if it was a good practice, but it wasn't exactly what we needed. A lot of times we reached back over to the person that submitted it and said, hey, can you help clarify some of this and modify it so we can get it back in the book?
Yeah, and that's a great point, and we're not taking away from that at all. It's actually going to be, you know, kind of, it's not necessarily in collaboration, but it's going to be part of that. So what Mike has at this point visualized is that they would go to MJC, get that reaction, and then come through basically our evaluation team as well, because we're going to look at it at a little bit different rate, right? So we're going to kind of categorize them, and then we're going to have, like, let's just say for doing daily inspections, one organization, St. Paul, has the best practice for doing inspections, and then there's 15 other organizations that have good best practices for inspections. And what we want this document to be able to do is to be able to file the rest of those also. Right, so we have one really good one, then we have some that might be scalable or might be relative to a little bit something different. And so this team is going to work on really kind of categorizing where the rest of those go and how they fit in there. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, still absolutely with the MJC doing that as well. Absolutely. Okay. I'll just touch base on the other two that are on there. You can see them kind of on the spreadsheet. I've got kind of their tasks on there, and I've talked about this again before. Marketing and social media aren't the same thing, you know, and hopefully in the descriptions of tasks that shows up a little bit. You know, they get information out and draw information in, but they do it really in a different way. Marketing is really pushing that out, selling it. You basically have something you're working off of, right? Some sort of contact list, and you're basically selling when you're marketing. And social media, you're just kind of getting that information out there, probably at a little bit of a faster pace and maybe a little bit less informational. And marketing is much more dedicated. And so those are two other pieces that are coming to play. And I know we had, I don't have to list anymore, but we had a lady from South Carolina, Richland, South Carolina, who wanted to be at least part of the marketing. So we'll pull people in on that and move that forward as well.
Hey, Mark, with the
Yes,
marketing, question for you.
Yes.
With the regional schools that are throughout the country, is there any way that we could talk with ICC to be able to maybe put something in the best practices area and ask the regional schools if they would help us put it in their brochures for their school areas? So not only do they read it via email and other ways, but you know, some people kind of react sometimes on paper more than they do electronically. Just a thought.
Can you dig a little bit further into the details on that? I'm not totally following. Yeah.
Okay. And like in Minnesota, we have a Region 3 school. Okay. That's a school that consists of North Dakota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Minnesota.
Oh, wow.
And it's an educational institute that we have every year.
Oh,
So
I see what you're saying. I got you.
much like Las Vegas has
I got you.
Educode, Colorado has their institute, and if we could talk with ICC and
Oh, totally.
because ICC works with a lot of institutes, if there's any way we could ask them to put something together for us and put it into their flyers also, that
Gotcha.
would so when people are looking through trying to figure out what they want to sign up for classes, they'll see that. And like I said, we found that when we switched over to electronic documents, we lost some of the people, so we still send out a flyer
Okay.
paper wise, and we get a lot of people to seem to react more on the paper flyer than the electronic one. So just an FYI, I don't know what goes on the East Coast on your side. I don't know what kind of regional schools you guys have, but you know, on the other side, I know there's some regional schools. Kansas down that way, they got some kind of regional school going.
Yeah, I was queuing in on like community colleges and stuff like that, so I didn't get that part. So yeah, no, that makes total sense. I think that's a great idea. We'll definitely look into that on that marketing aspect. Thank you. All right, is that good? We'll move on to item 6.2. So we've got the innovation team as well. I've got that kind of broken down. That follows very similar to the larger colored spreadsheet. A lot of great work went on in previous years on that, and I'm just trying to narrow that down and get that to work as well. And you know, Audrey, as you mentioned, you know, the nice thing is, and I'm glad that you were able to kind of see. I mean, you know anyway, but see that kind of on the various team spreadsheets. Is these are all integrated, right? These all work within each other, and we just, you know, sometimes just thinking that everything works the same, sometimes it's a little overwhelming as to say, then what is the individual pieces of all of it? But I think we've gotten there, and so yeah, so a lot of responsibilities, a lot of duties to do on that innovation team, and just stepping from there, if there's nothing on that part of it, if you could, Audrey, just give us an update on the award evaluation team. I know you're working with, is it Christine with Fire Services?
No, I did touch base with her in order to get a couple of other fire service people involved. So we have Tim joined the group, and I'm sorry, I don't have the other person's name in front of me. So we did meet, and I gave them the original, the work to date. We talked about the form a little bit and agreed that a couple of smaller changes would be good to be done. For instance, the original one had scores 1, 2, or 3, and we determined if we have a number of applicants that we needed to have more numbers than 1, 2, and 3, which would be good, medium, and bad. So we moved that up to 5 so that it'd have a little more nuance as far as scoring people. And then that work was kicked back to Bill and
Carl.
And they're going to, yep, thank you. They'll be making the physical changes on that. And in the meantime, the group is going to think about whether or how we would encourage people who didn't win the award to apply in subsequent years, and whether we were going to suggest that any coaching, either formal or informal, was to happen or to not happen. So that's what people are thinking on between now and our next meeting.
Okay, great. You guys have a time set up for your next meeting, or?
Frankly, I don't remember. Bill, did you set a time up? I don't know.
Okay.
Time for
another innovative award.
we did not.
We
We're
didn't set a
waiting.
time. Okay.
Yeah, we're waiting on seeing how the applications are coming in.
No,
yeah,
just as far as the reviewing the form and making changes or suggestions to the process. So we did not set another date.
We did not. Carl and I are chatting on some other things. I can quickly tell you on the innovation side, on the end game of this, I actually have a meeting next week or the second week of June on the way we're going to catalog or hold these applications once the winners, we have the winners currently, but the applicants, as we've talked about, we need a resting place for them so that people can access them. We're going to kind of reconfigure some stuff on that site to make that happen. So
Okay.
that's that. I do have meetings on that, but as far as the evaluation stuff, that will start ramping up sooner rather than later, Audrey.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's my main question, I guess, as to whether or not another meeting set up. Do you think the upgrades that you guys are doing, Audrey, would you think they'll be able to be used this year with this team's evaluation?
I think that the physical changes to the form will be used because again, there's a couple of changes, and this form is likely to change over time anyway.
Sure.
As the process changes. The bigger question of how we continue to engage the applicants is not going to happen this year. That's a long discussion.
No, it's just referring to the form part of it. That's a much bigger piece. And Bill mentioned that he and Carl are working on that, and that's also part of the innovation team's criteria as well, right? So yeah, that's a long-term piece.
Yeah, there's no doubt that that form will be able to be used this year. There's no doubt.
All right, great. Anything else, Audrey? Anything else you want to add on that, or is that good?
Nope, that's
okay.
it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate you reaching out and working with them. And Ed and Chris, welcome. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, that kind of gets us through a big part of it. Number 7 is member time. Anybody got any membership comments that they'd like to make? You can say anything you like.
I don't think Dan's going to be able to leave us. Dan, you're just going to have to stay on. And you're just one of those pieces of ICC that I've known for a long time, and I'm not ready to let go yet.
I just won't be working for Winston-Salem, Forsyth County Planning and Development Services. Everybody's got my phone number. Everybody knows how to reach me. My contributions or actual contract with them ends next year. And I hope that until I'm no longer able to be a part of ICC because I literally am not a member or don't have a certificate in standing with the state of North Carolina, that everybody will use me any way they want to, because that's what I'm here for, is to be used up till nothing but dust. And that's the way I feel about this organization and our team. We do good stuff. We're good at it. And we got some of the best people in the whole wide world doing it. I'm just happy to be a part of it and hang on. But thank you, Jim. Appreciate that.
Dan, I'd be careful what you offer up, man. You know we're gonna just like hunt you down and find you and use you up, just like you just said.
Can't think of nothing I'd like more or be prouder to do.
So a quick update. So when I did the agenda, Mark, I was not able to include anything on the ABM because we didn't have any information. Still don't have much information, but it is trickling out slowly. And to be fair to Building Safety Month, we're trying not to do anything to step on the toes of Building Safety Month. We've had a ton of events. Obviously, we don't want to, get people thinking too far in advance. And it is September away, but it is a big deal because we are coming back, right? So there have been some things dialed down. We have confirmed that membership council meetings will take place on Sunday morning-ish, 10 or 11. I think it's 10 on Sunday. And regional meetings will happen in the afternoon, and then so it's a little bit changed to the schedule where you remember we met at the end last time, but we're meeting at the beginning this time because number one, there's no expo, and number two, there's limited education. So it is a different event, but nevertheless it is an annual business meeting, which will happen Monday morning at 8 o'clock as it typically has. So more information is filtering out. There was some discussion that, are the membership councils meeting? Aren't they meeting? and we've confirmed that we are. So travel to the ABM will be at ICC's expense for all of the governing committee members. Much of that information will start coming out next week as Building Safety Month ends, and we start focusing on not only the ABM, but the mid-year hearing, the public comment period, which, that's the big question. Where are we going to be? Are we going to be virtual? Are we going to be hybrid? Who knows? So that's those are the next things we expect to hear.
Hey, Bill, do you know, are they going to have hotel blocks kind of set up for ICC? Because I know the Steelers are in town that Sunday as well.
That's awful. I know they play at 1 o'clock on that day, and
Oh, wow.
they played Las Vegas, as a matter of fact, and I've already looked at tickets.
Exactly.
It's a couple $100, but it's, I'd love to be able to go, but I don't think I'm going to be able to because I'll be busy. But yeah, and so yeah, the blocks, we have blocks set aside. I know people are trying. They know it's in Pittsburgh. They know where it is. They're already trying, and they're saying, "Geez, there's no hotels available." Well, that's because we're holding much of them. So yeah, hold tight. We will have hotel rooms. This is what I've been told. So the other thing that I was able to confirm with Carla is the opportunity for us to have. Oh my, where'd it go? The cone of excellence. Oh, here it is. Here it is. My grandkids were playing with it on the floor. The cone of excellence is definitely going to make an appearance. So we will be able to have some type of a dinner event and some fellowship. So that'll be good. So yeah, so definitely plan on it in September, and we'll be talking about it more going forward.
So would that, Bill, would that dinner event, social event be on Sunday or not Saturday? Certainly.
Well, that's a good question. Time, like last time was so tight, right? 2 years ago. This year it will be tight, although it'll be, a scaled back version. So we're going to try to squeeze it in wherever we can, Audrey. So we haven't really gone that far. We just know that Carla is budgeted for it, and we plan on doing it. We just don't know when or where and how we're going to squeeze it in, but we will.
Do you think they may be opening back up for the exhibitions because the states are opening back up, or no?
I doubt it at this point. That was a function of us, and I found this out the other day. That was a function of ICC polling previous past exhibitors, and the vast majority of them said they're out.
Oh.
So they may revisit that now that COVID is, I guess, come and gone, or it's still here, but in a manageable format. So they may revisit it, but I would not count on the expo coming back. I know a couple of board members have mentioned to me that they would like to bring it up at the board level, but I'm not sure if that's going to really come to fruition. I could be wrong though, but I would speculate that there will be no expo, and we'll just be happy that we're going to be able to be together and get a little bit of business done, and the world is going to be open again. So I think that's kind of the tack we're taking.
Great info. Thanks for the update, Bill.
You got it.
Next up is basically our next meeting, August 18th. If you have anything that had it a different date, then this is the correct date.
It was the 25th, but we had to change it.
Yeah, so if you'll notice, there's actually a BMC meeting on the 25th, right? So we needed to do a little bit of shuffling. So we'll be on the 18th. Then we've got the main BMC meeting on the 25th.
So there is important to note for the people that are on the call. There are a couple of other meetings coming up. Raise the Profiles coming up next week, and Continuity and Outreach, and then of course the governing committee on June 23rd, and we have confirmed David Jackson from the Gila Reservation to speak about some programs that he's doing. So that should be a pretty dynamic speaker. Some good information there. So that agenda should come out very soon. with a little bit of promotion as well. So keep that on your radar if you would. You might have all noticed some of these meetings are coming through as a couple of times. I tried to create meetings within Teams and then share it. That was creating some issues with people who have teams, who don't have teams, who are guests, who are outside the organization, all of that stuff. So I've gone back to creating an Outlook Evite and including the team's information there. So getting through this round of these next 3 meetings with RTP, CNO, and governing committee, we'll get back to regular Outlook meetings, but it will be a Teams meeting, but it will be regular Outlook events, not a Teams meeting. So there's been a little bit of confusion there, so I need to nip that in the bud.
Perfect. Okay, that's all I got. Anybody else? Do I have a recommendation to?
Mark, this is Jim. I recommend that we adjourn the meeting.
Terrific. We can't vote, so we're just going to end it. I really appreciate everybody attending and look forward to a lot more momentum happening here. So appreciate everybody's patience and determination. We're on our way to a great place. So thank you so much.
Very well, Mark. Thank you. Thank you all.
See you guys. Take care, man.
See ya.
See you guys.